Hi there.
What's up, buddy?
First show after the election.
Yeah,
Erection.
it is what it is. Hold on,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just gotta fix something here. I gotta make sure this is.
Making sure everybody's getting live.
Yeah, making sure that people can comment, etc.
Oh, be careful.
Some
with
connection between Facebook and Restream, and I never used to have to do it manually, but I don't know. Start digging
that.
into this
You
shit.
know
It's
what?
like
That's why you do the
wormhole.
tech work, because I just don't have the patience right now.
Yeah.
That's what makes this whole thing work.
Yeah. So we had the election. You lost. You ran a good election. But I do want to say right off the bat, whether people will like it or not,
I'm sure they
seems to be a
won't.
thing lately. That seems to be a thing lately. It seems to be I'm becoming as much as a lightning rod as you are, my friend.
Oh, is that so?
I guess I'm irking a lot of people, but
I didn't think it was possible.
that's I'm giving you a run for your money, buddy. Yeah, I just want to say that you might have lost the election, Todd, but we actually did accomplish what we set out to accomplish, and that is we got Tracy Honan off the town council. That was, I mean, anybody that watched the show knew that was the goal. Anyone that watched it for any period of time knew that was the goal. She had to go, and I know there's people right now going, huff, huff.
Or bull crud. No, they're saying sour grapes.
Yeah,
they're saying sour grapes.
No, the sour grapes. We have strawberries, buddy, because we accomplished it. Now, truth be told, you jumped in on a whim, and you ran a good campaign. You got a nice chunk of votes, but listen, in the end, you lost, and we move on. I know they're expecting us to rant and rave, and I was gonna do a mock like, I think votes need to be counted, and I think we need. I was gonna do that. You
would have the whole place fired up. The cops running down.
They would have been going,
cops heading down to Shirley Street and Revere Street and Pleasant Street to protect certain peeps.
Yeah, and then they'd be calling the sheriffs. They'd be at my door, and oh boy.
Listen, I'll say this, Scott.
So by Tracy Honan, you will no longer be the focus of at least my locus.
No, this whole thing, just to be fair, because you get into these things, then you want to win. But you're right. I mean, and I can remember some mornings down at gyms, I'm like at Lettieri saying, I'm going to pull papers and hope it scares her off, and it didn't. Yeah, but I think we got out chest in that one. I think they knew all along that they were going to bring in the figurehead, and have the machine bring. I mean, look,
it is what
no
it
excuse.
Is.
No excuses. It was me and Carol for the most part trying to knock doors, and that's what I was doing, trying to stand out. I mean, it was a lot of alone work, and I'm not complaining. I learned a lot. I made a lot of new friends.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it's fortunate, I should say. My side ran not just a good campaign, a clean campaign.
Yeah.
They talked about all the hate. I had a guy in my face, and I want to talk about this quickly. I'm not going to name names, but people heard the story about me being quote unquote assaulted. Anyone can have all the opinions they want, whether it's verbal, physical, whatever the assault was.
They weren't there though.
Right. And it wasn't comfortable, and it wasn't fun, and it was scary for Carol.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, he and I have sat down and have coffee, and we have moved forward. We may not be friends ever, but we're better than we were, and we're not going to have an argument again. And that, to me, is a win. And that's one of the silver linings that come out of this election.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You could have dragged it out and dragged him through the mud, but you didn't. He wanted to talk to you, and you spoke to him.
That's right.
And then there's a number of people in town that would probably fall into that category that have sat down and talked to you, thinking you're somebody else, but you're not. But with all that said, the election's over.
Yep.
With the votes isn't going anywhere.
Nope.
It actually, you know what? All right, I'm going to be selfish for a second.
Oh boy.
I'm going to be selfish. There was a little part of me that was like, but if he wins, then the format might have to change, and then we have to kind of watch what we say, and in the interest of Todd, and but that's not happening. That's not. So
no, it's not.
It's not happening. So we're going to continue on. We're going to continue on. We're going to try to improve the show like we do as much as we can. Oh, I know I meant to say something. I know I'm taking.
I got something I want to queue up too.
So you go and cue that up.
Yep.
I posted something yesterday, and I just want to say thank you to my followers. My Facebook followers. So you have Facebook friends, because that sounded kind of cultish, right?
Yeah, it did.
You have your Facebook friends, and you have your Facebook followers. The followers are the people that they don't want to really friend you, but they want to see what you're up to.
Right.
And I have a shitload of them, right? And I realize, though, there's a percentage in there. They hate my guts. They absolutely.
Wait, what is this? Some kind of epiphany?
They hate. I know. No, but I don't really look at the followers. I don't really pay much attention. Right. They interact sometimes because everything is public. My comments can be public.
You swore, by the way.
Oh, I did?
Just kidding. I mean, you said shitload.
Oh, okay. I want to thank my followers for being so loyal and faithful that you hate me so much. You follow everything I do, which I really don't get. I don't understand that.
We're not that
if you fun. Don't like me, go away. But I want you to stick around because my numbers and the numbers of this show are going through the roof.
Yeah, we've never had so much love or hate or late. We'll call it late. It's a combination.
So thank you for all that. Thank you to my Facebook followers. You're faithful. You're loyal. No matter how much you hate me, you still follow me. And that's a beautiful thing.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm done.
All right. So first, two things. The first thing is when we started this thing, before we even came on, you had mentioned or were educating me on the finer points of how these things go and how like Facebook groups always turn into cesspools, right?
Yeah.
Winthrop votes is starting to head in that direction.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, I don't like it. And look, I've contributed to it in the past. I think there are I certainly expect some pushback when I see your posts. Frida's I expect it and it's okay. But there is a line. I mean, I don't think we should have to spell out what a line is. I don't think we should have to spell that out. So we do reserve the right to block people, but we try not to, and we give fair warnings. And when they're not respected, that's when I just draw the line. That's what it is. So I don't want this to turn into a cesspool. I do not want Winthrop votes going down that road of. I mean, I know it's going to get a little more chippy since we've got so many new members. And again, we've wanted this, right? We've wanted people who hate us and disagree with us to come on, not necessarily take cheap shots from the cheap seats,
yeah.
But come on, talk to us. Like you're going to get a much fairer shake on screen than you are bantering back and forth in what's essentially text. The other thing I want to say is I do want to go back. I'm sorry, I forgot to do this during the election part. I just want to say a couple of quick points here about the election. I said I'm proud of my campaign. We ran a very positive campaign. I think the town deserves those types of campaigns, and that didn't happen from the other side. It just didn't. It was nasty. It was dirty.
Yeah.
It was not good. And I think the town deserves better. And I'm also going to say this is the second election in a row where something like this has happened. The Del Ventos, Alicia Del Vento, Nikki, and Kathy destroyed or tried to destroy Tino. It's disgusting and it's unacceptable. And now the Tassinari campaign came after me. And by the way, I agree with Johnny Bentley, and I agree with everybody out there that's saying he got his ass kicked. They didn't need to drop the text. Exactly the point.
But
That
they still
is
did.
hate.
Yeah.
That's hate. And I'm sorry I'm getting a little ranty about it, but come on, people, let's wake up. That is the definition of hate. To that end, I've retained legal counsel, and we are following leads, and we are going to be contacting those folks who we know were involved in this, who we know for a fact have lied and changed their stories. And that's about all I can say. But just know, the thing that bothers me the most is that it's still going on Winthrop Votes. My family, like, they don't need this.
These people don't care.
It's true, they don't.
They'll point all their fingers back at you.
But so just know that the town deserves better. This is politics. It doesn't have to be that way in Winthrop. I mean, for God's sakes, I don't understand why my opponent hasn't still to this day picked up the phone to any of the victims, including me, and showed leadership on this issue and said, guys, let's stop the hate.
He hasn't been told to. He's going to be told to what?
Silence is complicity, my friend, to quote the other side. I'm done now.
Well, he's going to do what he's told to say. He's going to say what he's told to say. He's going to do what he's told to do.
Of course.
That's why he was put in the spot. And that's, you'll see. You'll see.
It is what it is. But, if we can clean up local elections, this is the second in a row. Like, that is a problem. That's a problem.
They don't think so, though.
No, of course not. Oh, it's character. They call it character testimonials.
Well, it's interesting when
it's an assassination.
It's interesting when they can go, they can go off on whatever they want to go off on about hate, but when it's directed back at them, like, it's amazing their responses. Oh, look who the hate is. Oh, look who talks about hate, and then they hate it. They hate it when you fight back. That's why I'm going scorched earth. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. No. And Todd and I don't discuss what we post, by the way. Contrary to popular belief. It's not like okay, this is what I'm going to post. Then you're going to post what you're going to post. And then he doesn't know what I'm going to post. Todd doesn't necessarily agree.
No,
with a lot of, not a lot, but a handful of my posts. He doesn't agree with them.
No, but I want to make it clear. I am for free speech. I mean, look at if someone comes on here or posts on Winthrop Votes something I disagree with and is kind of mean, we can tolerate, like, okay, when you broad sweep Republicans or conservatives or, you know what I mean? Go ahead, have fun. But when you direct at someone right in their eyes and you just keep doing it and you're relentless, that's just different. It's just different. Yeah. So
all right, let's move on. Let's move on. So the fire station got voted down.
Man.
As we expected. I think as we expected. So I talked to a lot of people in Winthrop, believe it or not.
No way.
And I've come to the conclusion.
Florida.
I know, all the way from Florida. His long distance bill must be crazy.
I forgot about that.
Remember those long distance bills?
Yeah.
I have deduced over all my conversations that there is a problem. And the problem is this, as far as the fire station is concerned. Everybody wants it somewhere else. I have 4 locations. That were mentioned to me. 4 different locations. And as long as that mindset is still, so one was the old middle school, right? We know that's it. Another one was the buildings on each side of the old fire station, buy those and do a whole refurbish. That's 2.
Yep.
3 is where it was, right? Where it was proposed to be.
Yep.
Next to the police station. And 4 is down at Fort Banks.
Yep.
Right? So those are the 4 places that I've heard people mention. And they won't budge. They will not budge. They're like, no, it needs to go here.
So, okay, quick point.
Yeah.
75% of those people will be disappointed. Carry on.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go. But what they do is they really won't listen. Like, my whole thing is this. I've come to the conclusion, and I'm going to swear again. I don't give a shit where it goes. And I'm going to really swear. Give them a fucking fire station. Winthrop, give them a fucking fire station. Are you out of your minds?
We are one.
We weren't going to do this. I don't care where it goes.
You're ranting. Wait. Hold. Deep breaths, everybody. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just a question, though, for you. Do you know that we're like a phone call away from condemning these buildings?
I do know this. I know.
Like,
I'm well-versed on what's going on, yes.
Probably a bit of an exaggeration, but not that much of one. I mean, they're gross buildings. And look, I'll say loud and proud, I voted for it. I was for it from the jump. I never wavered. Never, because it's time. That's the, now every year, if I may, Scott.
It's going to get more expensive.
Yes. But beside from that, right now, the discussion about the middle school goes on in terms of the idea to make a rec center. That's still going on. So when that proposal comes, when all those RFPs come in and we start talking about them in the public and people start to see that some people start to, the open-minded folks start to come around and say, wait, $70,000 a year we're spending, we can generate $200,000 a year and the project doesn't even have to succeed. It really is legitimately a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. So when that's gone, okay, now what? Now where does the fire department go? Do you want to put it down at the baseball field? That's so much more. The A field, it's really expensive to mitigate that, mitigate all the environmental concerns down there. Same basically for the center business, the center school, the center fire station, because you got to get 100 feet from the opening of the fire department to the sidewalk. You have to have a 100-foot apron, I guess. And that would require pushing basically leveling the current structure or trying to pick it up and move it back. And that would require like 4 domain takes and none of them friendly. So all the options have their drawbacks to complain about. There's no option that's perfect. The problem is we're not getting this. I don't see how this it could go on in March, but that would be too soon. It would fail just as bad. It would look terrible, I think. So what do we do? And it's just going to cost us another $100,000, I think, every single year it goes off at current rates. So
it's inevitable.
Right. Give them a fucking fire station.
I'm sorry for the language. That's the only way you can give them.
Yep.
It's a very sticky subject, and everybody has their opinion. Like I said, everybody I talk to, and there's other people that agree exactly with what I'm saying, and give them anything. I don't care where it's at, but then you get the people that are stuck. They're stuck on one spot, and I've 4 spots that they've talked about, and that's that. And I don't even get into the arguments with them anymore. I just say, I don't care. Well, not that I argue it. I just agree with somebody else if you have to, give them a fire station.
Right.
It's insane. So interestingly, the 4 questions that were put on the ballot by the Ordinance Review Committee, right? That got those questions on the ballot. Overwhelmingly got passed, right? So what is that? So there was certain items that the town council, we don't think it should go on there.
Well, let's pause on that for a second.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. The recall language was 100% my idea. 2,700 people voted for it. So for all you haters out there.
You mean the people that follow me on Facebook?
Yep. I mean, and I'm glad. I want them to see that we do agree on some things. That was 100% my idea. I brought that up. I was the one that fought for it. I was the one that took lumps from Red Card Carol. We can talk about that offline. Red Card Bob. Anyway, carry on. I'm done.
No, no. I was going to say that I believe that there were items that they didn't want to put on the ballot.
Mhm.
Items that they might have been afraid of, as in, I don't know, was there a term limits thing that was being thrown around, or
Two.
um,
Do you want me to answer that?
yeah.
All right. So first, let me just address the recall. The recall was really meant. The reason we introduced the recall was because we wanted to give the council president 4 years to focus fully on their agenda to see if they could be more effective. Because we have a lot of fits and starts, right? So to protect us against a rogue president, we would add the recall language. And then the discussion moved to, well, you're going to recall everybody. Like, I'm the big bad recall guy. Seriously, that was that was the slings and arrows I was
I know.
taking. Like, you're the nut job that's going to recall everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because what I wanted to also do was shrink the terms down to 2 years on the
Yeah.
council, so that, and you can't recall in the first 6 or the last 6 months. So basically, it would eliminate the need for recall for the precinct counselors. And they, I don't know why they didn't like that idea. They keep saying the argument back from like precinct 2 counselor and um, precinct 3 counselor was, it's not broken, don't fix it. Same with Joe Aiello. It's not broken, don't fix it. But it is broken when you have 85% of your races uncontested or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
absurd.
broken. Well, they like it because nobody runs against them. And
Well,
maybe
right,
if you jumped in against in the next election, somebody's going to jump out because they don't want a campaign.
Well, I think what we have now found is that it's very clear. There's a multitude of reasons why people like us don't run. One of them is they just don't want to put their families through the hate. Um, Another one is there's no pay. um, and then another one is they don't feel like it's worth it. They just want to be with their families.
So
That's what it is.
let's move on to the next item that they didn't want.
Yeah.
And that was the only way you're going to have competitive races in Winthrop. This is the only way, people, that you're going to have competitive races where people are actually interested in running is if it's an all counselor at large council. These precincts just don't work. And you're getting there's some dude that got elected I think there was 3 signs.
DeRose.
Dude just put his name in and got elected. Do you hear that, people? Do you understand that? Guy didn't even have to, he put out like 3 signs in Winthrop and he gets elected to the town council. Do you see a problem there, Winthrop? Do you see
Van
it?
Swope got elected, another unopposed.
Unopposed.
They were all
Do you see that?
unopposed.
But, and that's because no one in that little precinct, that little world, wanted to do it. But what if somebody down the point wanted to run, not necessarily against Hannah, but they wanted to run as an at-large? Can't run against Hannah because maybe they're afraid they don't want the competition. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. But if you have all counselors at large, then you're going to have more people putting their hat in the ring. You're going to have more to choose from because you're not stuck in one little precinct running.
The more important part of all this, though, Scott, is while the charter gave the council the right to remove those items for the town's consideration, that's not the spirit of American government in any way, shape, or form. That is the people in power controlling the mechanism of power. It's morally bankrupt.
This is an interesting question. Are there any towns in Mass that does all at large, no ward councilors?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Somebody did mention it to me.
When we were
recently.
when we were town meeting, and we were basically all at large. It was selectmen. There were 3 selectmen.
Yeah.
There were no wards.
Yeah. Somebody recently
You know.
said, I forget what town they mentioned. They said they're all at large.
I mean, if you want to talk about representative government, okay, it's while it is the fault of the people who live in all those precincts, and it can work both ways, and it has over the years. While it is the fault of those people for not participating, you're not getting representative government by doing this, by doing it by precincts. It's not working.
Right.
It's a city. The reason we have drifted closer and closer to city is because we've made it easier for the progressive people to win these local boards. The people you have now, it's easy to win when you run unopposed. It's really that simple.
You put out
Buy a
3
place in the
signs.
Highland. I wouldn't be surprised if they call each other and say, "Hey, Winthrop's next. Come on up here. Move up.
Yeah.
Live in precinct 6. You'll run unopposed."
Yeah. Why is it that the school committee is allowed to take the top voted candidates to fill open seats?
Because that is called a town-wide race, that where you pick the top 3. You vote for your best 3.
Right. They did that with the housing committee too, right?
Yeah. Then right, it's just all town. You're not running in a precinct, so there's no head-to-head races. When it's at large, when it's all town, when it's town-wide, it's however many seats are open.
If 12 people run and there's 6 seats, how many seats per election are there usually?
There's 3. So on the school committee, there's 3 seats every 2 years.
3 seats every 2 years. What about the town council?
4 seats every 2 years.
So it would be the top 4. Mm-hmm. So if 6, 7 people decided they want to run, well, then you know what? You got to put in a little work.
Right.
You don't sit at home a month before, 2 months before the election. So just think about this also, people. These people were sitting at home once the papers were submitted, and then that time frame closed, that door closed, so nobody else could submit papers. They sat at home and said, "I'm the next precinct 6 counselor." 2 months before the election. You have nothing, you had no say in that. They sat at home knowing they were already elected. What kind of government runs like that? I mean, it's insane if you really think about that. These people knew 2 months ahead of time. They didn't have to get out and shake your hand. They didn't have to go out and tell you what they're going to do, what they're going to do, and what their goals are. They didn't have to tell you, and they didn't.
Nope, they didn't.
Think how Winthrop is run.
This is why it's important for. This is why it's important for people to understand. People who stayed out of it, right? So people who had friends on the other side who could have helped us, that stayed out of it. When you bitch, you got to look in the mirror, because this is, nobody wants to take the slings and arrows. You're not going to get too many people to stand up and do what I did. It's, if any. I can't wait to see what happens in 2 years. Who runs for what? So
Vasily,
I can't stress enough that
Vasily.
Not gonna happen. I wish.
I know.
Although, if he, maybe if he,
no, go on. Keep talking.
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, this is why I can't stress enough that Winthrop, small town politics, local politics is everything.
Yep.
It's everything, because now, okay, just consider this. Miss Edwards got some type of JAG appointment or something. I don't know. Some type of JAG thing I'm not paying too much attention to, but apparently it could lead to a federal position. Because of the backing, the Carlo Basils and the, what's his name? Darrow and all the people that were behind him, the big East Boston machine, he's got a walk-in to her seat. A walk-in. So where is the democracy that everybody likes to talk about? And by the way,
it's a one-sided democracy.
Okay, fine. And by the way, where's the outrage about the middle-aged white people and the white privilege that's going on here?
Oh,
this is a bought and paid for
I've been
election.
saying that.
Where are they? Where are they? It's like you not only encouraged what you would call white privilege, you paid for it, and by the way, you put your reputations and your careers at risk in the behaviors that you engaged in to get this white privileged boy elected. I
Don't
mean,
forget the white privileged cabal that worked
honestly,
in Winthrop. I've said liberal white women, and somebody said, "Why do you have to say white women?" I said, "Because there's no liberal black women in Winthrop standing up and saying any of this. There's no liberal Latina in Winthrop." I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh no, I know, but I want to know, like, are we being bad right now?
No,
Like, is this bad?
No, we're basically calling it the way we see it.
I'm asking questions, right? I mean, are these legitimate questions?
Yeah, it's crazy how the government in Winthrop is run, how they get elected, like why somebody can just sit at home for 2 months and not answer a question from you in precinct 5 and precinct 6, and they don't have to answer any questions. Nothing. They don't have to campaign. They don't have to tell you, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm going to make this a better. They sat at home. And that was it. And all of a sudden, they're on the town council. You have to think of the insanity there. You have to think of that.
Colin said it best. You get the government you deserve. I mean, everybody that complains, I mean, you stayed out of it. You stayed out of it at the peril of your own. I mean, you know what? Actually, your property's not likely going to peril. It's not that. But the sense of community that was once here is going, because you need, again, go to Cambridge. The infighting over there is constant. Go to East Boston, Jeffreys Point. The Karenisms on that Jeffreys Point page, people yelling at each other about double parking and
Facebook
putting chairs in the snow shoveled parking spaces.
Hey, that's old school, buddy.
Business over there. It is so different.
That's old school right there. Don't park in that spot, buddy.
My uncle lived down in Jeffreys Point. I spent a lot of time on Webster Street, a lot of time as a kid, and it was very much. It went from an Italian well, I lived on Princeton Street. That went from an Italian neighborhood to a more Latin neighborhood. I'm not sure what the transition that area went, but now it's this is not meant to be the pejorative, but it's more of a yuppie, kind of double income, no kids type area.
Yeah.
It's not as family oriented as it used to be.
So,
and they don't like each other.
So
it's just,
how do we get, how do we change that? How do we give the people of Winthrop? No, there's always a way. How do we give the people of Winthrop a more of a say, a bigger choice when it comes to elections? They need a bigger choice. They need at least 2 people. Whereas again, so if there's 4 seats up and there's 7 people, you have a choice. You have a choice as a voter. Whereas when you're in precinct 5, you have no choice. You got to vote for the person, or you don't vote for the person. That person can win. She can vote for herself and win. The whole precinct can stay home. I don't have to vote. She's going to vote for herself. She's in. All right, wait a minute. We got this. I haven't read it, so here we go. The problem is, unless the person who is running unopposed has ill intent, it's not their fault. No, I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm saying the charter has to change. I'm not putting fault on the voters. That's ridiculous. Like I just said, those voters can stay home. They don't have to go out if it's cold or if it's rainy. They can stay home because this person that's running unopposed can just vote for themselves. And they win by 1 vote. So
but there are people who run. I mean, I'm not going to, I was not in, before Tracy Honan and I stopped talking, I was actually encouraging her to run. Now, I wasn't in her heart, but I heard her words. And her words were, she was tired of the old white boys network.
The good old boys network.
The good old,
which is a white, it's a phrase, yeah.
Quite frankly, she was talking about Phil Boncory, who she now partnered with. Politics has strange bedfellows, right? Yeah. So, I mean, she had ill intent and she ran unopposed. It wasn't for the betterment of Winthrop. She didn't want to do it. She just didn't like Phil. Yeah. And oddly
enough, You know?
People have to get involved. It is absolutely the people got to get involved. We have 13,000 registered voters.
Oh,
3,900 showed up on a fire station vote and a hotly contested counselor at large vote. I guess it was just hotly contested in our own minds. Well,
yeah.
the two
Small.
sides.
Yeah.
Maybe we gave it more than it deserved.
So I just want to mention this. It was told to me by a number of people that our boy Phil Boncory went out of his way to make it so you didn't get elected. And I'll tell you right now, that's the most work that guy's done in years.
So
that lazy bastard, that's the most work he's done in years. And that's what we made him do. He had to move himself around. He actually had to walk. I don't care.
So they say hate is a great motivator. And of course, the side that beat me says hate has no home here. But let me give you two examples of hate-driven. You just listed one. I agree with you. I actually thought we diminished Phil, and I think we did diminish him from winning elections.
He'll never be again.
No, but if you take 700 of Tassinari's votes and give them to me, I win. That accounts, I guarantee you, between Phil and Peter Gill, they accounted for close, if not all of that 700 votes. Yeah. Now, some of those would have been mine, but that's two people who worked against me out of hate, not for the betterment of the town. I called Peter Gill personally and I said, hey, can you get with me? And he goes, no, I can't support you because you couldn't support me. And, and it was just petty and small.
I must say.
I mean, in fairness, he did say that attitude doesn't belong on the council. And to that, I say now, well, how about the attitude that doesn't try to stop all the hate that's going on in town that just keeps perpetuating? Right? I mean, it's really this is the stuff that disappoints me. I've mended my fences in that family. I don't know why I don't know why some people can't let things go.
Right. Well, like you said, hate is a great motivator, but irregardless, we move on. And so I think that something has to change in the town charter, that these precincts can't exist anymore because it's creating a non-competitive walk right through the front door 2 months before the election and say, I am your new precinct 2 councilor. Thank you. Walk into CVS. I am your precinct 2 councilor. Thank you. The elections in November.
I say we go back to town meeting. I do. I was not convinced of that, but I am now, because even though town meeting was very slow and painful, honestly, given the wisdom I have now, I'd rather live in a town where things are a bit run down, but everybody is down to earth people that don't think they're smarter than everybody else.
It's a different time,
and that just wants to raise their family and get along. That's what and that's what we grew up in. And sometimes my neighbor's house wasn't painted, or his lawn looked like crap, or my lawn looked like crap, but we were good people. I'll take that all day long, every day.
All right, buddy. We're going to wrap this one up.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start trying to make them a little shorter and sweeter rather than dragging it out.
Less vinegar.
Yeah. So next week we'll have, we're going to try to get someone on the show next week. And, again, we're going to try to keep between 30 and 40 minutes. I think that's a good time. An hour sometimes we're done and we're kind of torched, right?
Dangerous.
Yeah. So what year are we entering in on as far as Winthrop votes? Year 3?
We're starting year 3, right?
Starting year 3. Not going anywhere, people. The people that hate us still watch us. People that love us still watch us. Oh, by the way, we got voted. number one live stream for the town of Winthrop.
How? By who? You?
Yep. Voted number one live stream in the town of Winthrop. Look at us.
The only one. We're the only one.
What? What do you mean? Oh, you mean we just walked in and said, hey, just like precinct 2 councilor? Hey, we're the number one live streamer with them. I don't even need your vote.
No, he didn't run unopposed. He was in a three-way race.
See how that works? We are the number one live stream in all of Winthrop.
Yeah, I see
All
that.
you need is
I
my
see
vote.
you.
I vote. We're the number one. Just like the precinct 2 counselor, the precinct 4 counselor, whatever it is. See how that works, people? See how it works?
I do.
We're unopposed. Although I am begging for competition. I am begging for somebody out there to start a live stream to oppose us. Like I think that would be great television. It'd be great viewing. It really would.
We could have crossovers sometimes too. We could get on each other's.
That's not happening.
Don't be a
because
chicken.
the people that do it would not want to be on our show. I would go on their show, but
Right.
I would think that would be great. That would be great. It's all for the people of Winthrop. So just somebody start another live stream, right? Start another live stream and just have opposing views so people can, just don't go toe to toe with us on Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights because we'll blow you out of the water. But again, I want some. I think people should do this. So if you're out there and you're creative and you have the technology and you have the guts to go live once a week and talk to the town of Winthrop, I am all for it. But until then, I vote us number one live stream in the town of Winthrop.
Woohoo!
Just like the precinct 2 council. Just
woohoo!
Just walk in. Here I am. We're number one.
We're number
all right.
one.
And with that, buddy.
Ooh, yeah. With that, like we say, right? I just hit my head on the microphone. Okay. So I think this election was definitely an example of why people should pay attention to local politics. I do want to add too, the 1,300 or so votes. I mean, look, that is a movement. It clearly wasn't enough, but that's a base.
Put in a lot of work,
and that's people who are willing, to some degree, to take the slings and arrows.
Gave people a choice.
So, all right, and we didn't end up on top, but you know what? Get involved in local politics. Pay closer attention. Don't do what your friends tell you, because sometimes when your friends tell you to do something, you might get tied up in something that's not so above board.
Oh, there you go, buddy. All right, what do you got to say every week? What do you say?
What do I say?
Politics starts.
Oh, didn't I say that already?
No.
Oh, I didn't? Just kidding. All politics starts at the local level, kid.
And as I always say, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, share it. If you didn't like it, thanks for watching for the 43 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll be back, I think, next Tuesday. We can't do it Wednesday night. That's the night before. Before Thanksgiving, and that's a pretty lively night. So we're either going to do it Monday, Tuesday, whatever Todd wants to do, we'll do.
Indigenous Birds Day.
What's that?
Indigenous Bird Day.
And again, thank you.
Just teasing.
We will see you guys next week. Number one live stream in all of Winthrop. That's